Let's take a look at the Foliot Stratonaut GMT. This is a new release from Folio. This one comes in a 125-piece production run. And if you look on the case back, you can see the number. This one is number 4 out of the 125-unit production run. And I'd like to talk about this, its strengths, its weaknesses, my overall opinion on this watch. It comes in at $1,495 at retail price. I'm going to give you my opinion on whether or not I think that's worth it. But before I jump into it with the specs and dimensions, the rundown, I'd like to say that it's nice to see a watch that's not massive, that has original design language, that has nice features, nice specs, and it doesn't, come in at a ridiculous price. I know sometimes us as watch enthusiasts, when we see new releases from new brands or even new releases from old brands that we love, there usually is something that keeps us back that we go, hey, this would be awesome if only Seiko would do this, or if only Longines did that, or if only Zen was, less expensive, or whatever the case may be. And I think with this Folio, there's nothing glaring that stands out to me as, man, if only Izzy would have changed this with his watch, it would have been so much better. I think this is a very strong piece on its own, and let me explain the details and let me know if you agree with me here in the comment section of the video. So we have a 2893 ETA movement that is regulated in 6 different positions, carries a nice finish, 21 joules, a 4 Hz beat frequency, and 50 hours of power reserve. The movement, the well-respected dual-time movement from ETA, is housed within a Faraday cage within the case that provides 20,000 amperes per meter level of magnetic resistance, which technically is a little over 4 times what the ISO 764 requirements are for having an anti-magnetic watch, which those specs are 4,800 amperes per meter. So it's a good size, it's a good movement, it's well regulated, and it is anti-magnetic. Those are all things that I appreciate as a watch enthusiast. Now, technically, this is not a true GMT, which is a little bit of a shame. This is a classic dual time where the GMT hand you can independently adjust in one position, and it carries a long reverse indicator that is easy if you want to track the opposite time zone of the time zone that you're tracking with the traditional GMT hand. It also comes in handy if you have a hard time adjusting to a 24-hour index and you look down at your wrist and you say, okay, it's almost 19. What is that? Instead of doing a little bit of math in your head, you can look at the reverse indicator and say, okay, it's almost 7. So a little bit of a help there. This watch is 200-meter water resistant, and you have a screw down signed crown with the 3 o'clock position. Nice coin edging there that matches the texture of the bezel. And then there is a red stem on this crown. So if it's unscrewed and you look down at your wrist and you're about to jump in the lake or the stream or whatever the water activity may be, if you see a little bit of red, that's just an indicator that you need to screw down the crown and ensure that 200 meters of water resistance. The watch will have a box sapphire crystal with an anti-reflective treatment on the underside of the crystal. It does a pretty decent job of minimizing reflections and enhancing the clarity. So you can see the lovely sunray blue dial, the gilt-applied markers, and the red accenting. This watch is very dynamic, especially in natural light. You get some of the darker shades of navy depending on the light situation or the angle that you're viewing the face of the watch in. And then in others, it really lights up. It's very bright. It's very vibrant. It's a little electric. In fact, it kind of reminds me of the Blue Coral Sumo. If any of you are familiar with that watch, a lot to love with this color execution. I think it's very dynamic, very nice. The strong part about, or one of the strong elements about this Stratonaut GMT from Folio is the C3 Superluminova. We have a bitone application that is very legible in low light. You guys can see it's on the hands, it's on the markers, it's on the index track, and it's even in the bezel. So this is very satisfying in no light or in low light situations. Let's take a look at the bracelet. This is a very solid bracelet. It's a classic design with screw pin connectors. There's a 4mm taper, so a nice dramatic taper to a milled clasp that carries the signature and the logo on the clasp. Nice twin trigger release. And if you look on the underside, you guys will notice a quick adjust system for adjusting the travel. You have 8mm of travel in this micro adjustment system. And I think most of you will really welcome this feature. I think this is handy. And those of you that are familiar with Christopher Ward watches, this system is very similar to what you would get on a Christopher Ward. Now, the overall dimensions here, 41.1 millimeter is what I measure nominally with my digital calibers. And then we have 48 millimeters lug to lug dimension, 13.5 in overall height. And that's from the back of the closed case back to the top of the box sapphire crystal. And if you take the crystal out and just go to the bezel where the real height of the watch feels when it's on wrist, this watch measures in at 12.3 millimeters in overall height, 20 millimeter lugs, again, a taper down to 16 millimeters at the adjustable milled clasp. And I like the fact that we have drilled lugs. That comes in handy as you want to adjust the bracelet and take it off the watch and put on one of the included straps. You get a NATO included, you get a leather included. So that's a nice thing. Let's take a look at the handmade leather watch case. As you guys can see on the inside, we have a suede finish with little pockets for the various things that come with the Foliot Stratonaut GMT. There's a pouch obviously for the watch, then there's a pouch for the strap changing tools, which is nice. There's an included microfiber carrying cloth with the warranty card. There's a zipper portion here if you want to place anything else in this if you travel with the watch. Overall, this is nice. This is a very nice presentation set, and it works well with this 125 piece limited Stratonaut GMT in blue from Folio. Again, the retail price, $1,495, so it is by no means an inexpensive watch. I think if you're cross-shopping other watches at the same price, you're probably looking at Zen, maybe you're looking at Longines, you're looking at possibly Manta. And I would say, just from my experience with a host of different prices and watch brands, the quality here on this Folio is every bit as satisfying as with a Longines or with an Oris or with a number of different brands that are in that mid $1,000 price segment. I think some will really want the name cachet, so they will gravitate more toward a name brand that has an established history spanning decades. But for those of you where that really isn't a major draw, I think you'll enjoy this Stratonaut GMT from Folio. Again, a good movement, a 2893-2, regulated in 6 positions, anti-magnetic with the Faraday shield. Really good lume in low light. Nice anti-reflective treatment, nice level of water resistance, a good level of just how dynamic it looks in natural light. And then we have that solid bracelet, quick adjust system, extra straps, nice presentation kit. Overall, a very solid offering from Folio. So guys, reach out with questions. Let me know if there's anything I can go into more detail about, or if you have any specific queries or comparisons you'd like me to make. And then for those of you that are interested in a giveaway of this exact watch, I do a monthly giveaway for my Patreon group. So a link to that will be in the description. This will be one of the watches that I will give away for the month of May. So reach out with questions, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.